even Onkar had posted.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's go to the first question.
Yeah.
So how can one be a good ally to a person who is undergoing therapy or who is diagnosed with anxiety, diagnosed with depression? How can a normal person be
So
there for them?
a person who is not going through mental illness of any kind, the first thing is I would feel that if that person understands what mental illness is all about or understands the friend, these are two criteria which are very important.
Yeah.
That let's say you, Tana, your friend understands you very well. So that person knows that you are not going to create a facade unnecessarily. There is something really the problem with you.
Yeah.
That is the first thing that an ally should be doing. The second thing, probably many a times, if he can accompany you to a therapist,
Yeah.
because that makes it a very different thing. It becomes a support system because you require people at your age.
Yeah.
Particularly your generation, I can say that. Does that answer?
Yeah.
Or you want anything else?
I mean, like, you pretty much laid out everything there, and I think building empathy is the most important
Building
skill,
empathy, and also,
like in you, all of humans.
but
because
again, I would put a disclaimer here, if I can say that. Too much of dependency on an ally is also not good.
yeah,
Because what happens is then you become habituated to having support. So many a times what I do is, after a client has completed the sessions of therapy and all, so let's say the client has taken 2 months or 3 months, and then after that I keep a gap, and then I do a follow-up session after almost a month or something. For a particular reason is I am there, a call away. I give the assurance to the person, but I maintain that feeling that I am there, but still I'm not there.
yeah,
In a way that I don't answer calls many a times. I don't, I can be on chat, I can be on messages and all. But what happens is, otherwise the person does not have that empowerment inside. Because after therapy, I believe that a person needs to be empowered, or the way the therapies are planned and the way the therapies are done on the person needs to leave from the therapist all empowered, understanding what is happening, grounded, and knowing and accepting that challenges are going to come in life.
Yeah.
It is not going to happen that, oh, okay, I've worked, I've been in a therapy with a therapist, and nothing is going to be a problem with me now. I mean, I will not have any problems.
That to bring up.
Yeah.
But
So without that, but later on, he is capable or she is capable of dealing with any of the situations in an empowered state.
Yeah.
That is what is very important.
Yeah. So there's this like myth that people who go through mental illness come out very strong on the other side, and like it changes you, it makes you a better person. And I'm going to say, no, it doesn't make me a better person. Nobody is going to choose getting mentally ill just in order to come out as stronger, because it's horrific.
I got
process,
what you're saying. Yeah.
It's so much out there in, like, at least with people in my generation. It's cool to say I'm mentally, and then I beat that illness. I'm like,
correct.
There's nothing about beating that illness. Like, you have, it's a horrific illness, and you should not be looking forward to like recovering from it. It does not build character.
No.
It does not give you like better opportunities on the other side. It does not make you a better person.
No, I will add something here. It is not about being a better person. It's about being a more aware person, more of accepting of what you are and what you have gone through, and what would you want to be. So basically looking, kind of future progression.
Yeah.
Looking into the future, understanding what you have gone through, taking cue from there, understanding your strengths, overcoming your weaknesses. So enhancing all your strengths, basically. So all of this, basically you do my philosophy when I do counseling therapy work is evaluate, enhance, and empower.
Yeah.
So, all these things. So basically you start evaluating yourself, what is going wrong. You enhance, you look at your spot, and then you empower yourself. So when you come out from the, let's say, from the other end of the tunnel, let's say, yes, you are a better person, but you are an empowered person. So God forbid, you don't need to go through therapy. But if you have to, acceptance is the main thing. You need to accept that, okay, this is the problem. So acceptance, awareness, and then the shift, the transformation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next question is, there's a myth that psychiatrists give sleeping pills only, and So there's also stigma associated with seeing a therapist or with seeing a. So I think we spoke about that,
Yeah.
but it's a complete myth that psychiatrists give sleeping pills, because I don't know where this image comes from. I think people don't really have any understanding of how the mental health system in
Yeah.
India works.
Yeah.
Not just India, across the world.
Across the
People know how physical health works. You go to a family doctor and he or she gives you medicines or whatever, and like you go to a hospital, you check your blood, whatever illness happens, you have a protocol for it.
Yeah.
But there is literally no protocol steps that the people can take to go to a therapist in the first place.
With psychiatrist giving sleeping pills, honestly speaking, I'm not the right person to say anything on that. So no comments on that. All said and done, I have many hypnotherapists who are psychiatrists. So I don't think that they only give it for the sake of giving it. Obviously not. Generally, the chemical imbalance, which creates that unrest, which creates that internal shift, which can be sometimes very very bad, in the sense destructive in nature, because you go into a state where your behavior can be very unpredictable.
I think been through that.
Yeah, exactly. So that unpredictable behavior needs to be controlled. I will use the word control here because it needs to be controlled, curtailed, and it needs to be first understood what is happening. So psychiatrists are the ones who know the chemical imbalances in the brain much more. So
the difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist is the psychiatrist can give you prescription, the psychologist cannot.
Psychologists will do the testing for you. So, and then there is psychotherapy, which I operate with. So psychology is psychology plus therapy becomes the psychotherapy, literally. That becomes a different kind of modality, so I use counseling sometimes for people who are not able to go into hypnotherapy, or rather would not want to go. So for hypnotherapy, I would like to say that it is with the consent of the client. So if the client is not ready to go into hypnotherapy, I use psychotherapy. Because that is literally brainstorming, or literally, putting the words in the right way, and making the person understand. Because every person has a brain, and sometimes they use it, sometimes they don't. But when they use it, or if they don't use it, I make them, use it much more than what they have. So asking questions in a different way. Like right now, the way you are asking me questions, I ask the client, okay, what would you do? And this is a situation. What would you do in such a situation? And then they start thinking, oh, I had never thought of that. That's the response which comes up. So I feel that there is a need to understand. So I would again put it in a different way. Before going to a psychiatrist, long before going to a psychiatrist, if you start becoming aware of what you are doing good, what is not happening right. So like regular, let's say 30-35 years of age, and that this has been going well with me. But at some point in time, midlife crisis or whatever you call it, and then something goes wrong, something does not happen the way it should be happening. You start understanding that, you start accepting, being aware of it, and then you say, no, okay, I need someone.
Like that step is very important, because for the longest time,
correct,
I myself did not view it that I need help. I was like, oh, okay, this must be college ka stress, and this is like, okay, I'm in the final year, maybe I have stress about the future. I gave all of these reasons to myself, like why I'm feeling like that. And that wasn't the path that I should have taken. Like, I should have been more aware of myself. And again, this ties in back to the point that, oh, boys don't cry, whatever. So like I've been hearing it since ages now, and that is actually what stopped me from seeking treatment for a long time
earlier.
In the beginning. So also another question is, how do you convince people who are not doing well? How do you convince them that they need external help?
How do you convince? It's difficult to convince people, to be very honest. It needs trust. So if a client does not walk and come into my healing studio, it happens that somebody else sees the person not being good and then suggest. Okay, then that alliance is required. So that person will bring the client, actually, so to speak, to me, and then the rapport building The rapport building is very important, making the person understand that it is okay, that if you're not feeling well, it is okay if you're not able to deal with things as you were earlier. Like there are so many, like when we are talking about gender here, there are many men, when they have come as clients to me, they have had issues with their professional self, not personal. So that is a different shift there. So they have the midlife crisis issues, like, okay, I have been there, done that, kind of, at the age of 35, 40, I've done this, I've done all my responsibility, but now my life goes into a stagnation. Like, this is what I never wanted to do, kind of, but being in this, like, let's say engineer or a doctor, and then that gives me more money, and I needed all that, so I've been there, done that, but now I need something else. I mean, this is too taxing for me, kind of. So at the age of 40, they start realizing. So there are men at that age who have come to me from that perspective, that, oh, now I'm feeling like, not very satisfied. Why did I do this? So slight depressive mentalities, start coming in. So that feeling of not so good starts seeping in. So I generally tell them that probably this is the best time that you have, realized and come to me. Because otherwise, if it becomes later on, then they again go into the denial process. That, oh, no, what is this? I mean, I'm 40-year-old. I mean, I have 2 kids.
Like every
guy, exactly. But they do come. I mean, there have been some men who have, and they have come out of it. And but they have been open. But again, like percentage, like I told you, it can be 70-30.
All of this is anecdotal, by the way. And none of this is like hard
absolutely
facts. This is anecdata.
This is like generalized stuff. So whatever, because me, one person, one counselor, therapist sitting here is talking about this. So it doesn't, Any other question, Tanay?
So since reopening after COVID, what are the changes you've seen in terms of your clients approaching you? Is there more workload? How has like COVID affected your patients? Or
that is
what kind of illness what kind of problem they present to you? Like how has COVID affected people's mental health at large, and especially through your point of view?
It is something like I say, like we used to say AD and BC. So this is like post-COVID. So I think, so it is going to be PC. I feel so. So in post-COVID, or during, rather we can say it's still there. The lockdown has been just lifted. But the major areas are fear. People are absolutely scared of the virus, which is a microorganism. And, it is so funny that such a small thing, which you can't even see with your bare eyes, has really brought us on our knees and has created all this havoc in our lives. But I think it's nature's way of giving us a lesson, and we need to learn it well this time so that it doesn't reappear any other time in the future. So having said that, the fear is gripping. It's crazy.
Of what? Fear of getting the disease?
Fear of getting the virus. Fear of getting corona. Now, when we talk about negativity, and when there have been so many messages saying that you need to be positive, be positive, otherwise you will attract, virus.
You can't force positivity.
So the point is understanding that you need to be the immunity quotient. The immunity needs to be very high. So mental illness here has played a big role of nervousness, then depressive mentalities. These are the major factors which shouldn't be, or should be avoided in the COVID times, because people need to encourage each other to just take the steps, wear the mask, use your sanitizer, do whatever are the conditions which the government has told us to do, because they have done a lot of research in this. So I think that is, even if we do that much, the fear, I mean, it's something which can be avoided. But the cases that have come to me are typically from the drastic things where the jobs, people have lost jobs. People have, the recession time some years ago was a different story. This time the recession is, completely because of COVID, and people have been really sacked. And some of them are working from home. I have had clients who I've done online counseling and therapy with. They are literally looking out for 2021 like, anything, because many of them do not have good facilities back at home, so online work also is not a very good thing for them, because there are huge families, they have many family members in the house, they have small places, they do not have a separate room where they can sit and have they can work. Stuck with my family. Sometimes some people are very happy that they are with their families, but some people are literally not enjoying the fact that they are with their family, because that bonding is not there, or they don't like being at home. So that has created, so I have many cases where there are divorce cases, which have suddenly come up, that I don't want to live with. 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, I've been with this man and I don't want to live with him. So those kind of marriage issues have come up. Husband and wife, wife and children issues have come up. Then daughter-in-law and mother-in-law issues. All of these have come up because too much of being with each other.
Everyone's at home all the time.
Everyone is at home and nobody gets their own space. And you have to. So I call this as facing your fears. So you have to face your fears. You don't get along with people, you have to face them. You can't just walk out of the house and go to the office. That's how it is. So that's why it has aggravated a lot.
Family members of people who have COVID or who are like hospitalized for that matter, like their mental health must also have gone to like shit,
because it's very scary,
because they are witnessing it firsthand. The person they know might be a child, might be whoever uncle. You don't really know how bad this pandemic is till you've seen someone going through it. Because that is bound to
that realization is not there, because people just feel that it is like, it's just COVID and okay, you need to, go to the hospital, be there for 7 days or 14 days or whatever, quarantine and all. But what happens, I think the major fear is for the person, for the patient, who has COVID, is about being abandoned, kept away from the family. That is more scary. Otherwise, we have gone through swine flu. We have, we know dengue as well. We have normal flu also we have had. But that is the time when you are not quarantined. So being away from the family and not being able to, meet people, talk to people. On phone it's fine. But, that isolation. Somewhere I feel that isolation is something like you're put in a jail. That is very scary. I think if that can be changed in the future, I think the vaccine is going to come up soon, and then I think it will be and then I think it will be much more better.
How to tell if I'm ignorant to my own mental health or if I'm just mentally strong?
So if you're mentally strong, you will not need to even think about it. The thought doesn't come in that am I, do I have mental problems? That thought itself will not come. If you are able to deal with your challenges in life the way they are coming, let's say different milestones in life. Okay, so let's say after graduation, let's say you have a good job and stuff like that, and all of that is happening very well. After let's say 2 years or 3 years in one job, you want to shift, you want to change the job, and that's the time when you start feeling that, oh my God, will I get a job? Oh my God, am I capable of, getting an appointment in this particular firm or not? Will I get the job? Blah, 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 whatever thoughts you're coming up. You need to understand why are these thoughts coming up. You need to understand that after graduation was the more scary part. That time you did not feel scared. That time you were very motivated to go in for your first job. So 2 years, 3 years down the line, what has happened? What is it that has gone down? Is it your motivation? Is it the confidence in yourself about what you can do? Has that gone down? Or is it about you have, like we say, aate dal ka bhav samajh mein aa gaya, kind of stuff. So have you really understood the practicalities of it? So this is something, this is a quick example which I thought about, that here you need to understand, why am I feeling so nervous about it?
So you just need to take a step back and look at things objectively.
Absolutely.
And it's the skill that I've learned after a long time. It's that whenever you feel anxious, whenever you are not sure what is happening,
Correct.
you should be able to take a step back and look
Yes.
at the situation as a third person and look at it
Correct.
objectively.
Look at it from a third person perspective, like an onlooker,
Yeah.
and as if a bird's eye view.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you're doing that, the first thing, take a step back and just stop. Take that moment, take that pause, because that pause is important. You don't have to jump into a puddle, again, and then say, Arey, yaar, I should have thought about it. I shouldn't have jumped.
Yeah.
So before jumping, pause. Give yourself that time. That patience is very important.
Yeah.
And you deserve all of that.
Yeah.
Every person deserves that pause. Every person deserves to sit back, introspect. There are various ways in which you can do that. You do your, go into meditation, think about it, write it down, discuss it with someone whom you trust.
Also, like I feel there's this thing that when all of these thoughts come into your mind, you don't really know like what's happening to you. You just know that this is something different and whatever, but
this is what I've not experienced.
Yeah. And
Correct.
you don't label it as like I need help or whatever. The worst thing you can do is live in denial.
Yes. And that is what creates kind of a lot of ripple effects when you start being in denial, because that denial is not only about not acknowledging what is happening to you, it is also not acknowledging how does it impact your near and dear ones.
Also, it's not your fault that you're mentally ill. Like I was.
No, it's
that, like,
it's not even about the mental illness at that point
Yeah.
in time. It's a big word.
Yeah.
It's not even that. It's just about not feeling good enough.
Yeah.
Just not feeling good enough. You say that, okay, and every person knows that. It is just you need to touch base on that part of you inside you, saying that, am I feeling good? Am I happy?
And if the answer is no, you can't put the blame on yourself, because I did that in the beginning. Like, okay, I'm not feeling well. What is wrong with me? Like, I must be the source of the problem. I must be the cause of the problem. But mental illness can come anywhere, anytime, and it can arrive when there is no triggers.
Yeah.
And you are not really responsible for your mental illness. It is just like another physical health issue. Let's say like
Yes.
you had a heart operation, so you are not liable to it.
And in the olden days, was this there? Of course it was there. But it was always, shoved under the carpet,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
And that's why we had so many people suffering from this, suffering from that. And we never knew what made them, literally lose their lives in all of this. But today, with the technology, with the, next gen, we are more aware.
Yeah.
And we are more aware of it because also we are using a lot of technology,
Yeah.
and which is produced by humans, but still it is overriding the humans.
Yeah. So about like technology, I have a thing to talk about.
Yeah.
It's like the way we use social media.
Correct.
Now on Instagram, literally each and every person is posting their happy stuff. Their like perfect moment. They're taking a
Yeah.
vacation. They are like going out to eat or whatever.
Correct.
Nobody talks about the sad stuff or even the mundane stuff.
Correct.
And what happens is on Instagram, if you just follow people for a long time, or the app is designed such that it introduces envy, because you're envious of the person who is
Who's absolutely fine.
yeah. And we need to like look back and say like no, this is a curated version of people.
But Tanay, I would say what happens here is there are many people who are not very open yet. So it is also not about opening up to everyone in the social media typically, but opening up to the right person. I would say that. Because I understand social media as much as I can for my work purpose. I don't go into so much of social media as you all do.
Hashtag okay boomer.
Yeah, exactly. But what I feel is there are many people who do not like their stories coming out in the open. They don't like to talk about their personal stuff.
Yeah, of course, like that's up to you how much you want to discuss.
Yeah. So what I'm
That's your
saying is,
decision.
it is when you're bringing it out in the open, like again coming back to the awareness. So once people are aware and they are more empathetic and compassionate towards what is happening to the person, till that time, I think those kind of people, those category of people who do not want their personal life to come up in the open will be still there.
Yeah.
Because they will not find that compassion or people who can listen to them without any judgment.
This is like so meta because we are essentially talking about myself.
Yeah. So that is how it comes out. And those people who are open, they actually are in that frame that, okay, whatever people say, let them say, but I am going to be coming out in the open.
It took me a long time to reach this stage, by the way. Like, this is probably this is the
obviously,
first time
must have,
I am
yeah.
like openly
And and that is such huge thing for me, because for the last 3 months that we have been together, I have seen a lot of shift in you. And every single time when you used to kind of have that phase, and you have openly said that, yes, I want to come out of this, and I mean, I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So the last question is, do you have any resources like books on mental health, or like videos, or like articles, or whatever? Like, what are the basics that people should know? Like, how should people educate themselves about all of this?
Okay. Now I'm going to.
This is especially for people who are allies who need to understand how to talk to the person. Like, what kind of tools and resources they can access?
On YouTube, there are lots of them. To be very honest, I can't pin any one of them as such, but you can listen to Louise Hay, because I started my journey with her. I started literally my journey with her because she's amazing. I mean, she's there on that other realm now. She passed away last year, I think. She was 90, but she's too good. Okay. And then there are many other people who have been talking about mental illness, and you literally can go on and read and listen to people, and of course listen to our podcast. We might come up with more. But listen to realistic stories, listen to people who have gone through it, who have the guts and the daring to come out into the open, because otherwise there are people who can have facade. They can, it's like, okay, somebody else has gone through it, so I am writing a book on that person.
Yeah.
So it becomes a second person experience. So that kind of a second hand experience doesn't tell you what actually the person has gone through.
Yeah.
So there are many friends, my colleagues, who have been telling me that you have so much of experience of the last 12 years and all of that. So you need to write a book. So I don't know. I might really, because I really have so many clients and different experiences. But I can't think about any particular books as such.
So from books, I can recommend Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life.
She has a series of them. Yeah. She has many. So there is body, how can you heal your life? Then there is related to body work. There is related to what makes you stop or something, So there are, you can just look up Louise Hay. There are many books which she has.
One more book that I have read and I would like to recommend is Reasons to Stay Alive by an author called Matt Haig.
Okay.
Haig. And so he especially talks about depression hit him at age 40. It came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
At first he was like, oh, it's my fault that I got this illness. And he was beating himself down. I have also been there.
Yeah.
That you expect so much out of you, and when you can't even perform daily tasks, your brain criticizes itself. You enter into a negative feedback loop. Like, I can't even take a bath. I can't even make food without having an anxiety attack or without having a panic attack. So when you are at that stage, you blame yourself. So he's illustrated that quite well in his book, and then also how he came out of it. So Reasons to Stay Alive by Matt Haig. Then there's also Death is Not the Answer by an Indian author whose name I forget.
Okay.
And Louise Hay. And if you're interested into more of this, then there's a book on trauma called The Body Keeps the Score, which is something I'm currently reading. It's really nice so far. And that's I can't think of any. The book by Arjun Gupta called Don't Talk About Mental Health.
Yes, so the positive, the other side of the books I can share is like Rhonda Brand's, Secret, and so you can go into those as well. So Law of Attraction, basically. So Magic, and all those books. Also Ask and It Is Given. So these are different books which really take you on a different positive trail. So those are the ones which I can definitely say.